All right, 4th and 5th grade. We're back for the second part of your portrait. Now, you should have watched both videos. One shows a portrait, Glenn Close. He does all these very huge close-up portraits. Make sure you watch it. Besides the other video, they show all kinds of artists doing different portraits, or famous artists and their self-portraits. Self-portraits are an important part of art. At some point in an artist's life, they're going to make self-portraits. Some people, like Picasso, have made them the whole series from when he was very young until before he passed away. And it shows how your art styles change. He's not the only person that's done that. Frida Kahlo has done basically her entire career has been about doing herself in some type of a self-portrait or not. So those are two artists that I recommend. So this one's going to be you, and this is the sample. So last week I did the drawing in marker so you guys could get a good look at it, and I'm just going to use a mixed up, now there's no rhyme or reason to this particular, I have colored pencils that I've got in different sample packs. I get samples of things because that's what happens with Ms.M. She just gets samples, and I don't necessarily have a whole set. So I have some interesting colors, and this is actually a colorless blender. That's actually not a color, but it's used to blend two colored pencils together. Put that one aside. Greens, blues. I don't have any purple. There's a first. So you're going to do your name, and when you do your name, they say to first draw there we go. First draw your letter. So put my name in. A. Now, if you already have a really cool way of drawing your name, it's really hard to see. I'm doing it light. By all means, go ahead and do it. If you want to take a nice thick marker and just go over it, you could do that too. Or you can do what I'm doing, which I basically drew the letter, and now I'm going to go and outline it. So this kind of works like a guide for me. Or you. Think about the shapes you want to make with your letters. Because that's what we're doing. We're taking something that's a line and we're turning it into a closed shape. Uh-oh. Do that. All right, cap on my marker because these things dry out really fast. Take a eraser, and I'm just going to erase all the pencil lines. Don't need them. Go over here. Anything that looks like it needs to be erased. Do that now. All right. All right. So once I have my once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring. So I think I'm going to start with the letters. So I'm going to take some of my brightest colors and color them in. It's like a jade color or a teal color almost. I love colored pen. I have a love-hate relationship. I love colored pencils, but if you do something big, you have to sharpen them every 5 minutes, and that drives me nuts. So a lot of times when I use colored pencils, I'll use colored sticks, or another thing that I do is I use watercolors, and then I use my colored pencils to do details. Maybe I'll do a video of that. But I'm just using whatever I have on hand. Now, you guys probably have different stuff. You may have some odds and end crayons. You may have some odds and end color pencils or markers. It also depends on the kind of paper that you use. I am using a paper that actually has a little bit of a bumpy texture to it. Not a lot, but a little. And it works really well with what they call a dry medium. Dry medium would be color pencils, and pastels, a little bit. It doesn't have enough tooth for a lot of pastels. I'm going to use some of these pencils. These are just regular old pencils, but I like to do some shading with them. So I'll use a variety. Actually, yeah. Use a variety of pencils. Do skin tone. Everybody's skin tone's different. What if you don't have a color that matches your skin tone? Well, you could use colors that are mixed. You could mix colors. You could change the color palette. You could do colors that are not necessarily realistic. That could be interesting. Nobody said this has to be realistic. And if you watch that self-portrait video where it shows all the different types of self-portraits, you will see some of the self-portraits are very abstract. Some are just lines, literally just lines. And others have like crazy colors. Second and third grade is doing a self-portrait as well, but theirs is Matisse inspired, and they are using like greens and blues because, you know, he used bright colors. So you can feel free to do that as well. Don't feel like you have to use colors similar to what I am using. That's just ridiculous. But I'm doing this really quick because I don't have so much time on YouTube, and I'm going to take my time. Usually I would go slower, I'd go like that, but this is Ms.M rushing. I don't like it. Don't rush. I've been looking at some work, and most people have been doing a really good job taking their time, but there are some people that have been rushing. I'm not going to mention names. You know you are. And I can tell that you're rushing because I know how you do artwork. And it looks rushed. It looks sloppy. You didn't color in the lines. You didn't do a good job. It's streaky. You can see a lot of lines. Even my artwork, you can start to see lines. This is not my best work. The other one is much better. But I want to get to a part where you can see me layering colors. So in this technique, like I said, you could even do this with crayons, actually, just so you know. You're going to layer some colors. So I'm going to put down this like peachy color. This color is light coral, they call it. Light coral. I don't know who names colors. Maybe that's what I want to do. My next job, name colors. And then I'm going to come back with some darker colors. I'm going to come back. There's this russet brown. So I might come in and add some shadows. How do you make the nose stand out? Well, the nose is the same color as your face. It's the shadows. How about the hair? What color is your hair? Today, it's going to be brown. And about your eyes. Now, I could have done the pupil with marker, or I can color it in, which is what I'm going to do. I really need to get out more. Take some yellow. Add some more brown. Gotta get darker. Remember, your eye is round, so it's going to have like this circular doodah thing going on. Add some black. some blue tones. All right, so you get the picture. So basically, I'm building colors up in order to make what I'm looking for. This one's super light. And then your lips actually stand out because there's some shadow there. With hair, what color is this? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, it's got some dark. Call this color, I don't even know. That's a weird name. But it works. It's like a gray. Add some black to it. Ochres. So you want to think about, well, hair has a texture. This part here, we want to make darker. Because, you know, it's my neck. And I'm just going to basically continue coloring and adding layers and lines until I get something that looks like this one. Now I added some other gray pencil to this, and I actually really did a lot of stuff on the eye, but I don't want to spend too much time doing that. But you get the picture. Take your time. Build up the layers. Don't rush. That's about it. So 4th and 5th grade, this is the second part of your self-portrait. When you're done, make sure you upload it on your form. I'm gonna, you know, I have the attendance form, so you check off, you put your name, your class, and make sure you upload your artwork. Take a good picture of it. Make sure the picture's visible. I got some artwork where the pictures were like, bleh. Make sure you have good lighting. Make sure your picture's flat. Make sure you get the whole picture. And I'll post it on the gallery. Have a good day.